There we go. All right, so I'll go ahead and open the floor for community partner updates. If there's anything your organization has going on that you want to share about upcoming events, changes to programs, any of that stuff, go ahead and share with us now.
Hello, everyone. So I am Victoria Chandler. I work for UT Extension in Carter County. And yesterday, Tyler Wright had sent it in an email that he sent out, and I also sent it to some of y'all personally. But since I am grant funded, I have to have a 10-step coalition as well. So I'm having that on April 14th at the Elizabethan Public Library. It is from 3 to 4. And I have the flyer as well. So if anyone would like to contact me about that, and there's also a form to sign up. Thank you.
Hey, this is Elizabeth Hughes with Frontier Health. We also have Kid Power coming up this month. It's on April 29th. We're partnering again with ETSU. If anyone's interested in setting up, please send me an email.
Anybody else have something they want to share?
Hello, everyone. This is Caroline Rodriguez. And I just want to let everyone know that we are still accepting referrals for statewide family support network. This is a program that helps children that have special needs. It helps their families deal with the process of an IEP or a 504. It helps them also through the court system, juvenile court, and DCS if there's a DCS involvement. We help parents navigate the process of just complying with everything that the school may need, that DCS may need, and the juvenile court may need as well. And we also provide resources to the families. So if you have any children that will benefit from this, let me know. My information is in the chat.
Hey, this is Jeremiah Lovelady for Lifeline and for Inside Alliance. Inside Alliance, we're going to do a big event for National Overdose Awareness Day. We will probably do it on a separate day so we don't conflict with Carter counties, but we are putting together a planning committee for that. We want to do it big. We want to have music, food trucks, people speaking, the whole deal. We've got we can reserve the Founders Park here, and we want to do a big to-do for National Overdose Awareness Day, and then also to kick off September. So if anybody is interested in being on that committee, I've put my contact information in the chat. Just shoot me an email and say, hey, I'd love to help plan, love to help set this thing up, and we would love to have you, because anyone that knows me knows I need all the help I can get. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremiah. I'm gonna share a couple things that Carter County Drug Prevention has coming up too. I just put in the chat, April 22nd is Drug Take Back Day. It is in Carter County, but it's also throughout the rest of the region as well. So if you are serving multiple counties, know to look out for a drug take back day in your county on that day as well. This is a day where folks can bring their unused or unwanted medications and safely dispose of them. Of course, folks can do that all the time at Elizabethton Police Department or Carter County Sheriff's Department. But this day in particular is just great to raise awareness around the availability of those boxes. We also will have a couple of additional drop-off locations this year. So Carter Compassion Center and then Harmony Free Will Baptist Church will be drop-off locations on that Saturday. So if y'all will help us spread the word about that, we definitely want to get as many unused and unwanted medications out of homes as possible. We know that over 70% of kiddos access drugs from home for the first time. And lots of times that looks like we just have some medicines we were given that are sitting in a cabinet somewhere, and all of a sudden we have a curious teenager. And so we just want to really try and get those medications out of our homes and prevent accidental overdose, and really just prevent people from trying drugs for the first time even. So that's coming up on April 22nd. I put the link to that in the chat. I also wanted to share that this summer, we partnered with Elizabethton Parks and Rec to create an esports gaming lab at Elizabethton Parks and Recreation. So it's pretty cool. It's way cooler than I am. There's all kinds of games in there and gaming equipment and gaming chairs and cool stuff. And it's just an open esports lab. So we want our kiddos to have opportunities to do things in the community where they're safe, where they're engaged, where they are just able to have fun and be entertained in a healthy way. So we are doing open esports labs all summer long, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So those are all on our Facebook page. All the events are, but we'll have open gym, open esports lab, and also be there, you know, just as a human to check in on people that are coming in. And then I think lastly, I was going to share, we have a community Narcan training coming up on April 27th at the Elizabethton Senior Center. That's from 12:30 to 2. Everyone is welcome to come to that. We've been trying to do pretty much monthly Narcan trainings for folks. So send anybody you know that might be interested or want to be trained in Narcan to that. And actually, I thought of one more thing, and then I promise I'm going to quit talking. We are doing our annual pitch, hit, and run and home run derby contest on June 22nd. These are also on our Facebook page and website. And so this is an opportunity for kiddos to come out and do a free competition. It's an MLB competition that's sponsored nationwide. They get to do their hitting, pitching, running, and home run skills, and then are eligible to move on to additional competitions throughout the state and the nation, which is an opportunity that a lot of kids in Carter County wouldn't get otherwise. So we are excited for that. Please promote that for us. Again, all these events are on our Facebook page and on our website. If y'all will help us spread the word and share. All right, I think I'm actually done now. Anybody else have something they want to share?
Yeah, this is John with Creekside. We're looking at a health fair in the middle of June. We don't have a day. It's going to be either a Thursday or Saturday, but if anybody has a preference or wants to display a free table, we're going to have a meal, and folks will be able to see our construction for our new 24 beds. But just anybody that deals with any kind of health resource in the region, we'd like for them to come and share with us. So I'll put my email in the box if anybody wants to give their 2 cents, 3 cents for a Thursday or a Saturday for the event. Thanks a lot.
All right, anybody else have anything they want to share before we move on?
I do. I'm Rebecca. I'm with the Ballad Health Strong Starts program. We have been doing playtime classes for our kiddos and for our families. They're monthly. We have them in both Southwest Virginia and East Tennessee. This time it's on April 25th, and it is from 11 o'clock. And we will be doing a playtime class there. There's also a resource event there as well that day. That's on a Tuesday, April 25th. And that's just, it helps the kids get to learn a few of the standards, getting them ready for early education. It's really good for all age groups. And then on a more personal note, me and my husband have been working for about 2 years on an autism support group for our area, and that has been launched. We have a brand new autism support group, and I'm going to put the information in our chat. We do have an upcoming event on May 6th. It's going to be hosted at the Elizabethton Escape Room and Arcade. And it's a private event from 11 to 12 on May 6th. And that is for our kiddos that have autism and their families. So if you want to share that, that would be great. And just have them RSVP me for that event. Thank you.
Rebecca, where can we go to find more information about those events or to share? Is there a flyer or anything we can share?
Yeah, I'm putting it in the chat. I'm also putting our website on there as well. That is where they would go to RSVP. They just scroll down to the event, click the red button that says RSVP, and we'll know they're coming.
Thank you. Anybody else have something they want to share? Okay, we've got several things in the chat as well to make sure you check out. JCRC's got some awesome stuff going on, and lots of other good stuff in there. So make sure you check out the chat for all of the links to these events and other things that are going on. Y'all are awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure. Megan Fisher, are you here? Yes, maybe not.
I'm here.
You're here. Okay, awesome. So I am going to go ahead and turn it over to our first speaker today. So our first speaker is Diane Thistle with the Grief Recovery Method. I'm super excited for y'all to hear from her. She's doing some innovative things that have not been done in Carter County before. And so I'm really excited for y'all to hear from her. She definitely worked with my team and did a great job really shifting our perception, I'm not sure what word I was going for there, of grief, and really let us think about grief in a different way than, just normal things that we would think about with grief. And so I'm excited for her to share with all of y'all today, and I will turn it over to Diane. If you're talking, we can't hear you. Okay, I think they are having trouble getting logged back on. So we'll give them just a second. Is Stephanie here from English Mountain Recovery? All right, y'all, we are doing great with our plan today. Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to see if we can get Megan and Diane logged back in and check on Stephanie and see where she is. Okay, I think Diane has joined again. Maybe, sorry. Oh, nope, she's out again. All right, hold on just another minute.
Jillian, I think it's a connection issue we're trying to fix with the Wi-Fi.
Perfect.
Hey, Jillian, since we have just a pause in the agenda, I was just gonna announce, if you were in the Community Health Assessment Planning meeting in March, if you want to hop on to the Committee C breakout room at the end of the meeting, we're just gonna kind of go over everything again in there. So I'll just announce that here since we had a moment. Thanks.
Thanks, Emily.
And while we're waiting, also Washington County's drug take back event, also April 22nd. And they'll have one set up at the Jonesboro Fire Department, one at the Johnson City Police Department, and one at Boones Creek Christian Church. So all the things that Jillian said, but for Washington County.
Okay, I might go ahead and have us get into our breakout rooms. Does any breakout room need longer than like 20 minutes, maybe?
We might need more than 20 minutes. I do have a few new updates about our county health assessment process, Committee
Okay.
C.
Cool.
We'll say 30 minutes just to be safe, Jillian.
Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and get into our breakout rooms. And then we will come back together after breakout rooms and have our speakers share with us. If y'all don't normally attend a breakout room, it's a great opportunity to jump into one. Can I really quickly have our 3 breakout room chairs just share a little bit about what you're working on, so folks can know if they want to join you?
Hey guys, it's Tia with Committee A. So today we're gonna talk about Overdose Awareness Day event that's coming up in August and kind of work on getting a layout and a plan to get that started.
Emily or Megan, y'all want to share just like a quick update about what y'all are working on today?
I can share really quickly for Committee C. We're just going to be kind of reviewing some stuff from the county health assessment meeting that we had on March 20th, and be going over some of the next steps and preparing for that county health assessment process to start on April 17th. If you're interested in this process, surveying folks or know folks in the community that would love to be a part of this data collection, please hop into Committee C.
Jillian, I think we're ready.
Okay, change of plans. All right, so we'll go ahead and have Miss Diane share with us, and then we'll get into our breakout rooms right after that. Sorry, y'all. Thanks for bearing with us.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. My computer is on its last leg, and I'm in between houses right now, so a lot going on. Anyway, my name is Diane Tassell. I am with Pathway Grief Recovery. I am a grief recovery coach here in Carter County. I work online as well as in person. Today, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about grief and loss. And Jillian, cut me off when I've used my time so I could get going. I am very passionate about changing the narrative around grief and loss and the things that we say to ourselves and that we say to other people. We say a lot of things that aren't especially helpful, and sometimes they're hurtful. So I'm just going to go through a few things that we've all said. This isn't to call anybody out or to make anybody feel bad. This is just to bring awareness. So a few things that we have all said over our lifetimes that we can reframe and say differently. The first thing I'm going to say is when you're talking to someone who's going through deep grief or loss, who just lost a loved one, or has even lost a pet, or going through a divorce or some significant change in their life, please don't say at least. Don't say at least it could have been, or at least it wasn't, because we're comparing grief then, and everyone's grief situation is individual and individual to them. And even though we want to say, I know how you feel, you don't know exactly how they feel. You know how you may have felt in a similar situation, but everybody's grief situation is totally different. So if you could just recognize that at least is not helpful when you're saying that, at least you had that much time, at least you're young enough to have another kid or to remarry. Those things don't help the griever. The other thing is grievers, they're not broken. They don't need to be fixed. They just need to be heard. And the best thing that you can do is show up and listen. And if you say that you will be there for someone who's gone through a significant loss, show up, don't disappear. If they keep telling you, no, not now, or I'm okay, maybe ask them, I've asked you, just for instance, if you would like me to bring you a meal and you really haven't wanted that the past 3 times, do you want me to continue to ask? If they say no, that's fine. If they say yes, say, okay, I'm going to check in with you in 2 weeks, and then put it on your calendar and check in 2 weeks. Be intentional. When people are in this deep grief and loss period, there's a lot of brain fog that goes on. There's a lot of lack of concentration. Clarity isn't there. And sometimes they're just kind of stumbling through and getting things done the best they can, trying to come up for air. Sometimes they really would like that company or that meal. They think they're imposing on someone, or they think they're supposed to be doing this alone and figuring it out on their own. And that's very far from the truth too. None of us should be doing this on our own. We should be doing this surrounded by friends and family and community and lifting each other up. The other thing, and this kind of goes along with the at least, is comparing grief. everybody grieves at 100%. Everybody's grief is real. So the person who has lost their pet that they've had for 10 or 15 years may be grieving as deeply as someone who's lost a child. It's not for us to say. It's not for us to compare whether one is a deeper grief than the other. We don't know. We aren't in their head and we're not in their heart. So I would caution people not to compare grief too. Some simple things that you can do for people is maybe instead of fixing a meal, if they're just, especially if it's one person, maybe asking them, hey, I've got an extra gift card. Would you like me to use that? Or, oh, can I send Uber Eats to your house? What would you like? We're ordering out tonight. What would you like? And send a delivery service to them. It may be that they're just not ready to face people that they know, but they really would like to not have to fix a meal. And that's an easy way to do it. Hey, we were ordering pizza. Can I send one to you too? Things like that. Don't assume that they do want to be alone. I guess I'm just going to say that over and over because people will tend to isolate themselves because they don't know what to say and other people around them don't know what to say. Something else that's very, very important is to just listen. Just be a heart with ears is what I like to say. Empathize. There's a big difference between empathy and sympathy. I think Brene Brown has a little video out there about empathy and sympathy. You know, someone's in a hole and sympathy is like, oh man, looks bad down there. And empathy reaches their hand out to help somebody pull themselves up. So I always wonder now, why do we have sympathy cards instead of empathy cards? So let's try to be a little bit more empathetic rather than sympathetic and not just say, oh man, that's bad. And we shy away from it. That's our human reaction. Everybody's uncomfortable with this. Instead, maybe lean in and say, oh, how can I help you? Here's my hand. Here's my shoulder. Here's my ear. What can I do for you? Sometimes people don't want help for whatever reason. But especially like in the summertime, maybe mow somebody's grass. Or if you see that their garbage cans are down at the bottom of the driveway or at the street, take their cans back up. Simple things like that are big help because they're not thinking about those everyday routine things. They're thinking about, you know, what am I going to do next? Finances, relationships with family members that may be strained because of this. There's typically three things that we as humans shy away from talking about: money, sex, and death. And I think that typically death is one of the biggest things in our society. So don't be afraid to talk to the person about their loved one or ask them, do you want to talk about John? You know, or share a special memory. You'll find that they're able to share those things easily and that you can find them laughing about the good memories. And that's vital to their healing and to their recovery. So the other thing about it is don't say things, especially with kids, passed away or left or went to a better place. For kids, that's kind of disturbing sometimes and it's confusing. We need to use the actual language. You know, grandma died. Now, if you are a believer and you want to say that grandma's in heaven, that's fine. But sometimes those things that are not specific for kids, especially, it's hard for them to understand and wrap their heads around it. And I really think that we need to have frank and age appropriate conversations with kids. about grief and loss and death and dying. You know, as humans, we become grievers at very early age. Typically, one of the first losses that we have is a pet. And after that, it's typically a grandparent. So to work the kids through some of these losses at an early age, at an age-appropriate language, with age-appropriate language, is going to serve them well as they grow into their teens and adulthood. And it's kind of this ripple effect. Like if we're healed and we're using the appropriate language as adults with children, then as they grow, they'll use it with their friends. And as they grow with their coworkers and their families. And it's helps us as a society as a whole. We're not saying things that are harmful, not hurtful, that are hurtful. And we learn from each other. We learn how to heal. And eventually, if that in a perfect world, I wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't be helping people identify feeling words and identify the losses in their life that sometimes they don't even remember happened until we dig really deep. I see that there's a chat. Are there questions in the chat? For me, if anybody has a question, I'd be very willing to answer it. I do want to say that on April 14th, I'll be starting a men's only grief recovery group at the Elizabethan Chamber. So it'll be every Thursday for 8 weeks, starting at 7 p.m. each Thursday. There's only 12 spaces available and they're filling up. So if you know of anyone or if you are interested for men only, I truly believe that that is the missing demographic. Men are told to be strong and to grieve alone, basically suck it up, you know, get over it. And I don't think that they're given the same opportunities sometimes to process in a healthy manner, to process that grief and that loss. So I am focusing on having some men only groups. I also work one-on-one with people over Zoom or in person. So anything else that you may want me to address, Jillian?
I don't think so. Will you just share how folks can get in contact with you and maybe
Sure.
some different, I don't know if you want to share a little bit about what you did with our office and ways that other organizations can partner with you.
So absolutely, I can do that. So first of all, Jillian and her office went through a 4-week program that I coach on. It's called Helping Children with Loss. And it's based on the book When Children Grieve. This program is for teachers, counselors, coaches, parents, anyone who deals with children, especially children who are going through trauma or loss. And it gives you the words and the tools to be able to help those kids process and identify. It also lets you acknowledge where the triggers are coming from and have a plan for when you see those triggers of things that you can walk the kids through. So Jillian, Tia, and Nash went through that. And I think from what their feedback was to me, they found it very valuable. I've been trying to get this program into the schools, and I've talked to many of the social workers and people in the school districts. It's just a timing thing. So each session is about 2.5 hours. There is homework in between. You can complete it in a quicker fashion if you do 2 sessions a week with 2 days in between. But it's really to help adults recognize, acknowledge, and listen to the grief and trauma that kids may be going through. Sometimes we have kids in certain situations in school or groups or whatever, and they're the loud ones that are acting out. sometimes it's not that they have an attention disorder or any other kind of problem. Sometimes they're just in deep grief, and that's the only way that they can get it out. They have what we call STIRBs, which are short-term energy releasing behaviors. And for adults, sometimes those short-term behaviors can be anything from shopping to binging on Netflix to exercising too much, all the way into alcohol and drug abuse. So to recognize some of these things with kids, sometimes we can have that deterrent from when they're moving from age group to age group to see that that's what's going on, and kind of nip some of this stuff in the bud by giving them the tools to be able to acknowledge it, work through it, have the right language. That being said, you can reach me at my website, which is www.pathwaygriefrecovery. I'm going to put it in the chat. Maybe. All of my courses are listed there. You can register there for any of the courses. And actually, I'm going to put my phone number here too, if anybody would like to connect and have a one-on-one or ask more questions about things. You can absolutely text me, call me, sit down for coffee, or just sit down and talk in your office in my space. I would love to connect with some of you and see how we can be resources for each other too. I can come and do a 15 or 20-minute talk for your groups as well. So there is my info with my name in the chat. And thank you to Jillian and her group for having me come and coach them, and also for giving me this opportunity to talk. I am very passionate about this community and helping people and spreading the word and absolutely changing that narrative around grief and loss.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate you for being here. I also have Stephanie Pardue on the agenda today, and I have not been able to get a hold of her. So something may have come up with Stephanie, but we'll go ahead now and get into our breakout rooms. As you hopefully remember from before Diane shared with us, we do have 3 breakout rooms. The first one is our substance use committee, and that's led by Tia. She shared that they're going to be working on some overdose awareness activities. And then committee C is our data collection committee. So as Tyler mentioned, we have lots of good stuff going on in that committee. And then Megan, will you share quickly what committee B might be working on? Okay, they may be switching out computers over there. All right, so I'll go ahead and open our breakout rooms. You're welcome to join any of the 3 breakout rooms that you want to, and I'll go ahead and open them right now.